Yeah. Today we will go for further things. In the last lecture, we have seen very frequently occurring differential equations in physics, like Laplace equation, Poisson equation, Helmholtz equation, Schrodinger equation, and so many others. So, as I said, there can be hundreds of such equations, partial differential equations, which are very useful in physics in different types of phenomena. To understand, to interpret, and all that, we require all these type of differential equations, and at the same time we need to know the methods of solutions of such differential equations. Before that, let me revise very few important things what we have discussed earlier, or we are using right from last several years. That is, what is the terminology used in differential equation. So it is just a revision. Okay, so you can go for this terminology used in differential equations. So this is a revision. Most of the things are known to you. We are not going to repeat each and everything, but what are these things that we will discuss as follows. So first of all, this is said to be first order of differential equation. So what is this? This order is nothing but we have like d square x upon dt square plus something is equal to sum. If that type of equation we do have, then we call a order of differential equation is the order of highest derivative. So order of differential equation is given by highest derivative in the equation. So that is, in short, we can write highest derivative. Highest derivative gives order of differential equation. Second important thing we have already known, that is called as degree of differential equation. So that is, again, it's very simple to understand. It is the power of highest derivative. The power of highest derivative is called degree of differential equation. Is called degree of differential equation. So all its examples etc. are known to you. We won't go into details of that later on. Number three, third terminology used is linearity of differential equation. So here linearity means we are not needed to have orders of the differential equation or partial differential equations. Everywhere this degree of partial differential equation, that means either a term, any term, mixed term or whatever type of partial differential terms, the power of each and every term is 1 and not 2, 3, etc. Higher order power terms are not there, then that equation is called as linear. Okay, so we can write in short, if dependent variable and its derivatives appear, dependent variable and its derivative appeared in the first power, so none of the term is having second power, 2 power 3, etc., then such differential equation is to be said to be linear differential equation. For example, I will give this example here. We have this d square y upon dx square plus 5 times dy by dx plus y is equal to 0. So remember, here power is 1, here also this partial differentiation power is 1, and power of y is also 1. So this is linear differential equation. This is the linear differential equation. Whereas if I go for now another example of non-linear differential equation, this can be given as simply as shown by this. I write similar equation, d square y upon dx square, next term is omega square into y square, that is equal to 0. Now this is non-linear. because of this term. So term shown here, this term, square term, y square term appears in this differential equation. So this is the non-linear differential equation, and likewise several such type of examples can be taken, but this is not needed at this stage. So this is third important thing related to this particular or terminology that is used in the differential equation. So we have seen order, we have seen degree, we have seen linearity, whether equation given differential equation is linear or non-linear. Based upon that, these equations are classified, or that is what called as to be the terminology, different types of terminology. And fourth and important one, that is said to be homogeneity. G-E-N-E-I-T-Y, homogeneity of differential equation. So we'll directly go for its example, and then we can understand very easily. So for example, if I am given this example, okay, for example, d square y upon dx square minus y into dy by dx plus x square minus 1 into y is equal to 0. Okay, so here the term on the right hand side, this is said to be function f of x is equal to 0. So this function doesn't depend upon y, so either some constant or something else, if it is there, is equal to 0, then this function is called as homogeneous, or this differential equation is called as homogeneous. Whereas if I am writing another equation, this is again a very familiar equation to us. It is m into d square y upon dt square plus r into dy by dt plus kx is equal to f0 sin qt. Now remember here, the dependent variable here is y, independent variable is this t. Okay, y is function of t. So on the right hand side, I have a function which is not dependent upon y, and this time this is non-zero. So whenever such equation comes across, this is going to be non-homogeneous. So this is the difference between homogeneous and non-homogeneous differential equation. So essentially, right hand side of this homogeneous differential equation is always 0, whereas in the non-homogeneous differential equation there appears at least one terms which is not function of dependent variable, and such type of differential equations are called as non-homogeneous differential equations, because depending upon this term existing there, the method of solution of this differential equation and method of solution of this differential equations, these are different one, or solutions are different one. So this is one very common differential equation we have used in the last year, that is called as differential equation of forced oscillation. So this is the forced oscillations. I think some of you may remember this, and this equation contains this term f0 sin qt, which is called as the this is not restoring force, but this is called as external periodic force applied to this type of oscillator. Therefore this oscillator is called as forced oscillator. So this equation is inhomogeneous differential equation. Method of solution of this inhomogeneous differential equation is different one, whereas above equation is homogeneous differential equation, because right hand side of that is equal to 0. Method of solution of this differential equation is something different. So homogeneity, non-homogeneity, linearity, non-linearity, order, degree, these are the very frequently used terms in case of discussions of all different types of partial differential equations. So these are known to you. It is just revision, as I said. So that's why we have not gone into all details of these but are further terminologies here. Okay. Now one more survey we have to go. That is called as general techniques for solving second order ordinary differential equations. Okay. Let me go here. Sorry. General. We should come here. General techniques or methods. General techniques or methods. One of such method we are going to discuss today. General techniques or methods for solving second ordered ordinary differential equation. Let's only summarize this again. As I said, we are just going to list this method because some of the techniques are already known to us. So first one is use of separation of variables. This is one simple, very common and easy method to solve all such second order ordinary differential equations. Not ordinary, second order partial, PDE, partial differential equations, PDE. We are supposed to solve them by using following methods. So first one is use of separation of variables method. That is what we are going to discuss in detail, very detailed. That is what we are going to see. Second method is called as the use of Green function. Green's function. Those who have learned mathematics in SYBSE, they might come across this type of method in calculus. So use of Green functions is the another popular method to solve such type of partial differential equations or second order partial differential equations. Third one is the use of integral transform. Again, those who have learned mathematics in the SYBSE, they might have learned this Laplace transform, as well as there is another important and very frequently and commonly used, and that is called as Fourier transform. Then there is Z transform. So many transform methods are also there with which one can solve all different types of differential equations. Fourth is use of numerical methods. So this is also known to you. You have used this earlier in SYBSE. For example, NR, Newton-Raphson method. Then RG, that is called as name of this is Runge-Kutta method. Okay, RE, this is the method. Then Gauss elimination method is there, interpolation method is there. So all these numerical methods you are going to see, or you are going to get trained for the computational physics paper. So in that case, you are going to come across different types of methods as we are going to see in this case. And the last method I am going to write in the list here, that is called as the series solution method. And remember, in our discussion of chapter number 3, as I said earlier, this is what one method, very interesting method we are going to introduce, and this is another which is said to be the one of the very special method, and this requires a very good knowledge of mathematics as well as physics, and again common sense too. So solving this differential equation doesn't require only knowledge of mathematics and physics, it also requires a common sense. I am saying common sense again. So what this common sense required, how it is to be used, etc. These are our further discussions what we are going to discuss in the next. Okay. Now next I'll go for here is this. Now first method out of this, give a next title, separation of variables. Okay, and this is one of the very common, very simple and very interesting method, that is said to be separation of variables. Here now we are going to use this method for Laplace equation in the in Cartesian coordinate system, then Laplace equation in spherical polar coordinate system, Laplace equation in cylindrical coordinate system, Helmholtz equation in Cartesian coordinate system, spherical polar coordinate system, as well as in case of the third, that is the cylindrical coordinate system. So here we already know that given function psi is a function of either x, y or z. In the spherical polar it is a function of r, theta, phi. In the cylindrical coordinate system this is function to be a rho, phi and z. So these are called as variables, variable 1, 2 and 3. Here also variable 1, 2 and 3. So given partial differential equation is to be resolved, is to be separated in three different ordinary equations, each one for each variables. Suppose in I'm having a three-dimensional case, that is XYZ coordinate system, a single partial differential equation is to be resolved into three different types of ordinary differential equations, separate for variable x, separate for variable y, separate for variable z. This is called as separation of variables. Similarly, in case of r theta phi, we will get r equation, theta equation, phi equations, ordinary differential equations. Solutions of that may be known to us, and that can be used here to get the final solution of the given partial differential equation. Third case is again in the case of cylindrical coordinate system. We have rho, phi and z are the three terms, three variables in which the given partial differential is to be resolved or is to be separated, and that is called as the method of separation of variables. Now there is one very important point we have to understand here. Depending upon number of variables given, we have to go for the number of we have to go for setting of certain numerical constant, and there it requires, as I said earlier, that requires a common sense. What type of constants we have to choose, that requires a great common sense and intuition. So what this is, that is also we are going to see discuss there later on. But here just write one statement. We in this method we are needed to set some constant in each for every partial differential equation. And how? If I have n variables, then I have to set n minus 1 constants. Okay, that means if I have 3 variables, then constants will be 2. If I have 2 variables, then constant is 1. And if I have 1 variable, this is ordinary differential equation, it doesn't require anything here. So this is how we have to go for deciding how many constants can be set in these equations, in the solutions, and this constant plays a very vital and important role. So when we go for actual this Laplace equation in the spherical polar coordinate system, then we will come across these constants are nothing but in vector model we use three quantum numbers: principal quantum number, then orbital quantum number and magnetic quantum number. So these three quantum numbers are actually these constants which we have put in the solving the Laplace equation in the spherical polar coordinate system. So more about this, that will be see somewhat later on. Now with some similar examples, we are going to understand what this particular method is and how is to be applied. Okay, now henceforth our titles will be a bit bigger. आपले headings थोडेसे मोठे असतील, but not to worry at all, not to frighten at all, because the methods involved itself is very simple and easy. That is to be done as follows. Okay, now first example here of this separation of variables, we can use this use of separation of variables. Okay, so that is first here is Laplace equation in Cartesian coordinate. Laplace equation in Cartesian coordinates. Now first, for understanding purpose, we will take two dimensions. Okay, for simplicity, for understanding purpose only. You can go for 3 dimensions as well, it makes no difference or it makes no change. So first let's write the Laplace equation in two-dimensional Cartesian space, Cartesian coordinates, is, I think you might have heard this about del square psi is equal to 0, or I can write this is equivalently two-dimensional. Therefore this del square operator or Laplacian operator in Cartesian coordinate system, two-dimensional coordinate system, will have this is to be delta square psi upon delta x square plus delta square psi upon delta y square. This is linear and second order partial differential equation. So I can say this Laplace equation is linear, second ordered, then homogeneous partial differential equation. So this terminology I am using here, this is second ordered linear homogeneous partial differential equation. So this is what a terminology used, second order, because del square psi upon del x square, that here also the second term is this. Linear because no power term more than 1 is there anywhere exist in the term on the either left hand side as well as right hand side. Homogeneous because right hand side of this is simply going to be 0, and this is partial differential equation or second order partial differential equation. So Laplace equation written in two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system text form as shown by this equation. Okay, now remember, now in this method of separation of variables there are few fixed steps. So once we have written this differential equation, we have to follow following steps. Step 1 is very essential, very easy, and that is again required a common sense. That is what we are going to discuss here. So first step is, let us assume that the solution psi of x and y, two variables are there, solution psi of x y is the product of, I am writing very explicitly this just to understand, for understanding purpose. Psi is the product of two independent functions each of which depend upon only one independent variable, which depends upon only one independent variable. So this entire statement can be written in mathematical format as this: psi of xy, this is the final solution of this differential equation. It is the product of two independent function, capital X of small x and capital Y of small y. Okay, now remember, this is the methodology we have to use for each and every further problems. So here I am giving these numbers. This is my equation number 1. This is what my equation number 2. I am assuming that the solution of the Laplace equation in two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system, psi of xy, is the product of two independent functions where capital X is exclusively function of small x, one first variable, and capital Y is the function of the second variable, exclusive function of the second variable y. So here this is what we have to use everywhere in the further derivation. So we are assuming, first step, once this equation is given, differential equation is given, first we have to assume that the solution of that differential equation is going to be a product of two independent functions, x of x and y of y, or in further cases we are going to write this in different terminologies. At that time we can understand like this. Okay, so where x is function of x only, we can write here where this capital X is function of x only and capital Y is function of small y only. So both of this x and y, capital X and capital Y, which are exclusive functions of x and y respectively. Okay, now we have to use this method, or this information is to be used to get the value of psi in the following method, following manner. Okay, now let us split split the partial differential equation 1, PDE 1, into two ordinary differential equations, Okay, this is what we have to go with this assumption. This is important statement. Now we have to go for further. Now as I have taken, I have given, or as I have assumed that psi is a function of x and y. So let's rewrite our equation number 1. Okay, so the equation 1 can be rewritten as so how I can write? I'm writing this psi of xy. I'm writing it to be product of x and y. Okay, where I have to be confirmed that this capital X is function of small x only and capital Y is function of small y only. So this psi wherever appears in my equation number 1, that can be replaced by x and y, product of x and y. Therefore my differential equation 1 becomes dava square in the bracket xy capital divided by dava x square plus second term is dava square again in the bracket x into y capital divided by dava y square is equal to 0. So here we know that here this y is not function of x, so I can take this out here. So y into dava square capital X upon dava x square plus in the second time here also this x is not a function of y because we have already taken this capital X is function of small x only, capital Y is function of small y only. So therefore we are not needed to take differentiation of x with respect to y in the second term. So I can write x out of this and this can be written as dava square y upon dava square capital Y upon small dava y square, that is equal to 0. That is equal to 0. Okay, and now what next step? We have to divide this by again xy. So dividing above equation, this equation, all the terms by psi that is equal to capital X and Y, we get, so let's divide them, this above equation with this psi is equal to x and y. So naturally by dividing here in the first term, when I different this by x y, so y will get cancelled. Here when I divide the second term by x upon capital X y, out of that x will get cancelled and we get 1 upon y times. So dividing above equation by the product xy or psi, we will get, this is left hand side is 1 upon capital X into d square. Now I am writing d square x upon dx square because I know that capital X is function of small x only, and say in the second case also y is function of small y only. So I can, this in spite of curly delta, now I can use d square x upon dx square. Similarly this can be written as 1 upon y only, out of this x upon y, x will get cancelled, we get 1 upon y, and this time this square y upon dy square is equal to 0. Okay, and further I can take one of the term on the left hand side as well as right hand side, and therefore next term is I will write 1 upon x into d square x upon dx square is equal to minus 1 upon capital Y into d square capital Y upon dy square. Call this to be my equation number 3. Now this equation tells you very interesting, something very interesting. What is that? Can anyone tell me? Rohan, Ira, Samareen, or Akshay, or anyone else? कौन सांगू शकेल? Hello? So can anyone tell me what is the speciality of this equation? Equation number 3. Equation number 3. What is its speciality? Can guess Vedashree. So what is the speciality of this equation number 3? The speciality here is the left hand side is function of small x only, whereas right hand side is function of small y only. There is no y dependence on left hand side, there is no x dependence on right hand side. So these two sides of the equations are independently depend upon two independent variables, small x and small y, and therefore this equation can be true only when both of these left hand side and right hand side are equal to some numerical constant. लॉंग स्टेटमेंट आय हॅव डिस्कस, मी खूप मोठं स्टेटमेंट बोललो या ठिकाणी, हरकत नाही. तर ही आपल्या सगळ्या ह्या सेपरेशन ऑफ व्हेरिएबल मधलं सगळ्यात महत्वाचं स्टेटमेंट असं असेल की जेव्हा केव्हा अशी सिच्युएशन येईल की लेफ्ट हँड साइड हे एक्सक्लुझिव्हली फंक्शन ऑफ वन सेपरेट व्हेरिएबल स्मॉल एक्स अँड राईट हँड साइड इज अगेन फंक्शन ऑफ सम इंडिपेंडेंट व्हेरिएबल स्मॉल वाय, दिस इक्वेशन विल बी ट्रू ओनली वेन, ही इक्वेशन खरं जेव्हा होईल की जेव्हा ह्या दोन्ही लेफ्ट हँड साइड आणि राईट हँड साइड एखाद्या न्यूमेरिकल कॉन्स्टंटच्या बरोबर असतील. अदरवाइज दिस इक्वेशन विल नेवर बी ट्रू, अँड दॅट्स व्हॉट आय एम पुटिंग कॉन्स्टंट हिअर, that this constant I can, this is my choice. हा constant कसा ठेवायचा, काय ठेवायचा, that is what I said. That requires a general knowledge, that requires a common sense. So here we are using this common sense very simply. So you can remember, मी आता एकदा पुन्हा रिवाइज करणार ही सगळी मेथड, but before that we'll write a first one line below this. Okay, right here. In equation 3, LHS, left hand side, LHS exclusively depends on small x. LHS exclusively depend upon small x, and RHS is exclusively depend on small y. Okay, आता पुढच्या काही डेरिवेशन मध्ये एवढं डीप मध्ये आपण लिहिलं नाही, वी आर जस्ट गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट दिस. सो LHS exclusively depend upon small x, whereas RHS is exclusively depend upon small y. Okay, and here this equation 3, the equation 3 is true only when each side is equal to some numerical constant, otherwise this will never be true. म्हणजे ह्या दोन्ही साइड जर एखाद्या न्यूमेरिकल कॉन्स्टंट बरोबर नसतील तर हे इक्वेशन असं असू शकत नाही. दॅट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, because here x side, left hand side is completely depend upon small x, while right hand side is completely depend upon small y, and there is no relation between x and y. These are independent. Therefore both of these left hand side and right hand side are independently equal to some numerical constant. Then and then this equation will be true. If this is not equal to this left hand side, if this equation is not equal to some numerical constant, then left hand side will give you different thing, right hand side will give you different thing, and we will never be able to write equality symbol between these two left hand side and right hand side. So this equation will be true only when independently LHS will be equal to some numerical constant, and independently that RHS of that equation is also equal to the same numerical constant. Then and then we will be able to write this differential equation. Okay, so some numerical constant, say, okay, I am saying say sum this constant to be lambda. Okay, don't understand, don't get confused here. This is a number, this can have any dimensions depending upon the problem which you are taking. So whether the problem is from classical mechanics, electrodynamics, quantum mechanics, based upon that this lambda can be a number and it can have different units. That what we are going to discuss later on when we go for this things later on. Okay, so therefore I can write this equation 3 as 1 upon x into d square capital X upon dx square is equal to minus 1 upon y into d square y upon dy square is equal to that constant lambda. And therefore from this equation I can separate out two differential equations. Okay, lambda and this lambda is called as separation constant. This is called as separation constant. This lambda is called as separation constant. Okay, so thus we get two ordinary differential equations from above. We get two ordinary differential equations from above equation. So first one is 1 upon x into d square x upon dx square is equal to lambda. This is my one equation, so I will call this equation number 4. And okay, no need to give numbers here, we'll go further. Second equation can be written as 1 upon y into d square y upon dy square is equal to lambda or minus lambda. This minus sign can be taken on the right hand side. One is lambda, second is minus lambda, and therefore rearranging this, rearrange this. I am going bit slow here just for a reason to understand this. Next problem onwards we are not going to be that slow what we are doing here. Okay, now rearrange this. You can take this x here, so it becomes lambda x, and this term, right hand side term, again can be taken on the left hand side. So rearranging this, I'll get first differential equation is d square x upon small dx square minus lambda into x is equal to 0. This is my equation 4 now. Now taking this y here, it will become minus y lambda. This can be taken on the left hand side. Therefore next is d square y upon dy square plus lambda x is equal to 0. Okay, now what are these? This is what equation number 5. Sorry, this is my equation number 5. So this equation 4 and 5, these are the, now look at this, the middle term here, the second term, this is negative here, so coefficient of x is negative here, whereas coefficient of x, here it's y, this is y, coefficient of y is positive here. Okay, this actually I should be write capital Y. I'll just keep this. Once again I'll write this. It is d square capital Y upon dy square plus lambda times y is equal to 0. That is my equation 5 and not this. Okay, so look at this. These are the two separated ordinary differential equations. So both of these, equation 4 and 5, are second ordered ordinary differential equations, and solutions of these are known to me. So whenever this coefficient of this second term x here in this differential equation is negative, we get solution of this differential equation to be exponential. So this will have exponential solutions. This is again now a part of mathematics, this is not part of physics. And whenever this coefficient of this differential equation in the second term in the differential equation is positive, then this type of differential equation will have a solution which is called to be trigonometric solution. Trigonometric solutions in terms of sine and cos. Okay, that term will have a trigonometric solution. So exponential solution in the case when we have this, and when we have this type of form of the equation, differential equation, then this is going to be a solution of that equation is going to be trigonometric solution. So we will write one statement here. Thus equation 4 and 5 are two ordinary differential equations. Ordinary differential equations separated from Laplace equation in two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate. Whose solutions are known. So out of that solution or equation 4 has exponential solution. Actually we should calculate this, but this is not needed. We always know whenever this lambda the coefficient of the second term lambda is positive or negative. If it is negative, then the solution is exponential, and it is of the form. Actually this is done in textbook, you can look it there, or actually you have done this all these things in mathematics, so I am not repeating this mathematics in between here. So solution in this case is given by capital X is equal to some constant c into e raised to root of lambda times x plus d times e raised to minus root of lambda times x. This is solution, or this is equation number 6. Similarly, equation this is 5 has as I said, trigonometric solution. Trigonometric, or that is also called as oscillatory. We have used this word very many times in the last year in oscillation, waves and sound. So in this case, this solution will be oscillatory or trigonometric solution, and it has the form. It has the form y is equal to this is given by a times cos root lambda into y plus b times sine root lambda into y. Okay, this is equation number 7. Try to understand, we are not solving here this equation 5 and 6, not we have solved. After solving this, I will get solution of the equation 4 is equation 6, and equation 7 is solution of equation number 5. So all these things you have already done these things in mathematics. That's what I am not repeating all these things here. So now it is your part. You have to go for how to get a solution of second order ordinary differential equation d square x upon dx square minus lambda x is equal to 0, as well as second differential equation ordinary differential equation d square y upon dy square plus lambda into capital Y is equal to 0. So solution of this equation will be oscillatory, given of the form. Solution of equation number 4 is exponential, which is given in that particular form. So these are the standard solutions of these differential equations number 4 and equation number 5. Thus from this equation 1 we have separated two differential equations, ordinary differential equations, of which solutions are known, and therefore the general solution of Laplace equation will be, okay, so write the final statement. Therefore the general solution of Laplace equation in 2D Cartesian coordinates, okay, we have already assumed that the solution psi is function of it's a product of x into capital small x and capital Y of small y. So knowing this, I'll get general solution of the Laplace equation in the Cartesian coordinate system is, get this product. So first it is c times e raised to root lambda times x, x is there in the numerator, plus d times e raised to minus root lambda times x multiplied by, this time it is a times cos of root lambda times y plus b times sine of root lambda times y. Or you can arrange the order, because we need constant a b c d in the order. So therefore just replace the terms there. A times cosine of root lambda into y plus b times sine of root lambda into y multiplied by c times e raised to root lambda into x plus d times e raised to minus root lambda into x. Okay, so here a, b, c and d are constants. If these constants are determined using certain conditions, then we can get the actual value of psi, or the solution of the Laplace equation in the Cartesian coordinate system. Okay, so this is the general solution. This is the general solution. This is the general solution. Now remember, this is what a method. Here we have learned a method to solve or to separate the partial differential equation into ordinary differential equations. So here we had two coordinates, therefore I had to assume only one constant, that is what lambda we have taken, and in this case I have separated this Laplace equation or this partial differential equation in two different ordinary differential equations of which solutions are known, and therefore I could find out the final solution given by this equation number 8. Okay, now same is the method we are going to apply next for at least 4 to 5 problems in the next few lectures. पुढच्या काही लेक्चर्स मध्ये अशाच प्रकारे आता लाप्लास इक्वेशन इन 3 डायमेन्शन, wave equation in 2-dimensional Cartesian space, wave equation in the spherical polar coordinate system, Laplace equation in spherical polar coordinate system, Helmholtz equation in cylindrical coordinate system, Helmholtz equation in the Schrodinger equation in some other type of coordinate system. These type of several different permutation combination type of problems we are going to discuss one by one. Out of that, the more important is Laplace equation in the spherical polar coordinate system. As I said earlier, when we solve this differential equation, Laplace equation in spherical polar coordinate system, that is r theta phi, we separate this partial differential equation in r equation, theta equation, phi equation, and therefore general solution also can be calculated. And doing that, in that process we come across two different types of constants, and what these constants are, as I said earlier, are going to be one of the very important parameters. And these parameters, that is what in the vector atom models we require this, we use these parameters to be, or we interpret these parameters to be, so principal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, orbital quantum number, and so on. So all these things will be connected to each other. So this mathematics comes to the rescue of the vector atom model. So whatever constants in vector atom model we do take, these constants have their origin in this mathematics. That is what we are going to learn in detail from the next lecture onwards. Okay, so before that, let me revise in very brief what we have started here in the this first, that is the separation of variables method. As I said, so these are the variables in the xyz coordinate system. This is r theta phi, this is rho phi z, cylindrical, this is spherical, this is Cartesian, and depending upon how many number of variables your differential equation contains, the based upon that many number of constants we have to find out, or we have to decide such set such constants, and we can separate the given partial differential equation in, if n is the variable number of variables, n equations will be there. If n is the number of variables, then n minus 1 will be the constant there. So this is to be understood here. So here in general we have to write this partial differential equation exclusively, or Laplace equation, in the Cartesian coordinate system in its components form. This is given by this equation number 1. We have to assume here that this psi of xy is a product of two independent functions which are given by equation 2. So where capital X is exclusively dependent upon x, capital Y is exclusively dependent upon small y. This is the product of two functions, and that is the solution of this given differential equation. Further, we go for this to split this differential equation into ordinary differential equations. What we do, we place this psi of xy is equal to capital X, capital Y in our first Laplace differential equation. So that gives you this differential equation, del square x of xy upon del x square plus del square of xy upon del y square. Here I can take this y is not a function of x, so can be written outside. Secondly, here x can be taken as a independent of this form y, so that is taken to be right here. Then divide this equation by psi again, or that is psi is equal to x multiplied by y, capital X multiplied by capital Y. So when we divide this y gets cancelled and x remains in the denominator. Here in this case, this x gets cancelled and y remains in the denominator. So we will get another equation. The new equation is 1 upon capital X into d square x upon dx square plus 1 upon y times d square y upon dy square. So partial derivatives are now replaced by this total differential or differentials this way, because here capital X is function of small x only, y is simply a function of small y, single variable only. Therefore these curly deltas can be replaced by this type of operators, d square x upon dx square as well as d square upon dy square. That is my this equation. Then I have separated first term and second term of this equation. That is my equation number 3, and that is what I use here, a terminology, or that I used a method that shows me that equation number 3 is left hand side is completely dependent upon small x, right hand side is completely dependent upon small y. And in mathematics this happens only when, for any of the differential equation or any equation, when there are two separate sides are functions of two independent variables, then this equation will be true only when this equation is going to be equal to some numerical constant. So in this case, we have taken this constant to be lambda. So I have written equation 3 into the form 1 upon x into d square x upon dx square minus 1 upon y equal to minus 1 upon y d square capital Y upon small dy square is equal to lambda, that is called as separation constant. And from that again I will get the equation 4 and equation 5 as d square capital X upon small dx square minus lambda into capital X is equal to 0. This is the second ordered ordinary differential equation having negative coefficient. So solution of this differential equation is going to be exponential solution of the form capital X is equal to, that is equation number 6, c times root of e raised to minus lambda into x plus d times e raised to minus root lambda times x. So first c into that part is exponentially increasing function, d times that remaining part is exponentially decreasing function. So this is addition of exponentially increasing and decreasing function. So that equation d square capital X upon dx square minus lambda into x is equal to 0 is very common ordinary differential equation, second order differential equation. The solution of this differential equation is the combination of exponentially increasing function and exponentially decreasing function, that is given by equation number 6, whereas equation number 5 is the second order ordinary differential equation in y exclusively depending upon second variable small y, and since its coefficient lambda is positive for the second term, and therefore this equation has the standard form solution which is going to be trigonometric, or that is said to be oscillatory one. So my x is exponentially decreasing or increasing function, exponential function, capital Y is the oscillatory function, and therefore the general solution is given by capital X is equal to psi is equal to capital X into capital Y. So this is oscillatory, and this is exponentially, and this is the oscillatory. So writing this in the manner, I get general solution of this psi in this case is in the bracket capital A cos of root lambda into y plus b times sine of root lambda into y, where a and b are some constant, multiplied by this bracket is c into e raised to root lambda into x plus d times e raised to minus root lambda times x. So this is exponential decreasing part, exponential increasing part, they come together, that forms a exponential solution of this that is x. So y is the oscillatory solution, and psi is the product of these two. That's what why the psi is composed of all these four terms, and that is called as a general solution of Laplace equation in two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. So for today I think this is much. So what method we have applied is this. Now tomorrow onwards we are going to use this method for separate examples. I am just going to show here. Laplace equation in spherical polar coordinate. Then there is next is Laplace equation in the cylindrical coordinates. Then Helmholtz equation Cartesian coordinates. Then Helmholtz equation spherical polar coordinates. The wave equation in the spherical polar coordinates. The one-dimensional wave equation in this its separation of variables. So that type of very different problems we are going to come across, and everywhere, as I said in the beginning, how many variables are there, that many number of ordinary differential equations will be separated, and how many variables are there, so that variable numbers minus one number of constants will have to be taken there. And once we understand this, we can go for any of the differential equation, partial differential equation in any of the system, and we can get their solutions very easily. So next part of this application, method of separation of variables, that will be covered later on in the next lecture onwards. Okay, so today we'll stop here. I thought to be taken as a one lecture, so I will